Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the American Tier 8 Premium Medium Tank, the Stone Cold TL-1 LPC. Now if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Stone Cold TL-1 LPC. This is obviously the WWE version of the TL-1 LPC. This is a vehicle that you're probably never going to see come up for sale ever again. But the unskinned version in the TL-1 LPC has been on sale quite a few times and will probably always be on sale because it's just a box standard tank. What's the difference between the two? Well, just the paint job. They're both exactly the same tank. And if you haven't guessed by the title, as always, this is the game, well, this is the game leading up to and then achieving the third mark of excellence for this version of the tank, which has always been an absolutely fabulous tank. It has two gun options, but realistically, only one is worth it. It's got a single shot gun with 280 alpha, and then this double tap autoloader. And the power of this vehicle is the double tap autoloader for stuff like that, because it reloads really quickly and you just push out damage very, very fast. And it is such a nice tank to play because you can get the camo down to an okay level. The mobility's pretty good. The gun handling on it is pretty okay as well. It's only really the shell velocity that feels a little bit poo at times that can lead to the gun feeling a bit derpy. That's what I'm trying to say on that. And the turret armor is alright. It's nothing. Realistically, the armor on this vehicle is nothing you should rely on. You shouldn't rely on it, but angles do happen on this vehicle, and they do count for something, which means that occasionally you'll get a good ricochet or two. But most of the time, you shouldn't rely on it. I don't know what this UDES is doing, but we switched to heat because actually with our 90mm gun, which is what this vehicle has, we can't penny UDES anymore because it's got 30mm of armor, meaning we can't overmatch the armor. But if we load the heat rounds, because of no normalization on the heat, we could actually go through that UDES, and that's something you always want to try and look at doing for the Swedish TDs, except for maybe the STRV 103B because it does have a heat shield. But anyway, we got yellowed there, we survived, we're up to 2.5k damage on Malinovka. But yeah, these two games are leading up to and achieving the third mark of excellence, and we have two very nice games that push us up quite well. So what is this vehicle like with its top speed? Well, this tank goes at 50 km an hour top speed with the 20 km an hour reverse speed, 665 horsepower engine, which is 18.01 horsepower per ton ratio, which means you do hit that 50 km an hour top speed, and if you were to run the traction system, you would go at 55 km an hour. It is well worth an option to pick on this vehicle instead of the camo net. It's down to you and how you want to play the vehicle. And by the way, if you've ever watched my videos talking about Malinovka when I've been on the opposition spawn and I say D6 is a really strong position, this position we're in here in the TL-1 LPC is also a very good position up into a point. And that is when they win the hill and when they start being aggressive in positions like you'll see in the G-Saw. But you've seen exactly why and exactly where you want to be to stop anybody taking D6, because you've seen us manage to get rid of at least two tanks or stop two tanks taking that position by just being in a good spot where we can stay safe and pump shots into the back of them. But I digress. This tank's ground resistances do not hold back the tank whatsoever because they're pretty damn good. You've got 319 meters of still concealment, which again isn't great, but it's not bad. And it means that you can stay unspotted in quite a few situations, especially a situation like that where you just saw me fire that medium tank and the Lerva. We stayed unspotted, which is pretty good for the TL-1 LPC. We've got 512 meters of view range, which is great. It will help us to spot out very, very easily and get some big assistance damage games if we want to get that, which helps obviously if you're going for marks of excellence and stuff like that, like we are in these two replays. You've got 41.27 degrees a second turret rotation speed, which is slower than the hull traverse, as that is 46 degrees a second. And it's one of the reasons that I don't run the traction system, is because the traction traverse gets ridiculously quick with the traction system, and the turret traverse is way, way, way slower. And it's one of those things that just irritates me a little bit, so it annoys me so much that I'd rather have the better camo. But it's down to you and how you feel comfortable playing tank. Obviously, that's always the way it is with a build. You've got 0.81 accuracy during rotation, which is okay, with 1.6 accuracy during movement, meaning that the aim circle doesn't bloom out that badly anymore, which is pretty good. 2.39 second aim time, though, is pretty slow, but because the aim circle isn't all that big when you're on the move or turning the tank, you don't feel it all that badly. 0.32 accuracy isn't that great, though, with all the stuff we can helping it, so it will feel derpy at times, this gun, when you're firing at distance. You do have 9 degrees of gun depression, though, by the way, which means you are very, very flexible on the ridgeline and helps you in positions like we're taking here on Mali to try and defend people coming off of the hill. You've got a 2-shot autoloader, as you're seeing here, which has a 1.13 second intraclip reload, which means you dump out these 2 rounds exceptionally quickly. And from the moment you fired the first shell, they generally don't have the time to react to you firing the second one, which is pretty nice for the Stone Cold. It means you just pump out damage very, very quickly. You got 14.59 second reload though, which as you're going to see with the food boost, it can be a little bit much quicker, which is 13.6 seconds, which for the 280 alpha round, so for 560 clip potential, it's not too bad. It's also not great. I mean, we've got 2.1, nearly 2.2k DPM, which is a bit slow, but just because of how fast it pumps out, basically you want to be doing that double tap and then running away and you'll be all good. You've got 208 penetration on the standard AP, with 280 penetration on the heat rounds, 914 meters a second shell velocity on the AP, with 1219 meters a second shell velocity on the heat rounds, which means the heat rounds do fly a lot quicker than the AP, meaning that it feels generally a bit more accurate. So what do I run in terms of crew and equipment? Well, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Camouflage Expertise, Silent Driving, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, Optics, the Gun Stabilizer, and the Camo Net. Camo Net to get that really good camo of the 390 meters of camo. The Gun Stabilizer to get the accuracy down as low as possible, or the accuracy during movement and rotation down as low as possible, so that this aim circle is not too big. Optics to be able to get that 512 meters of view range. All 3 gun perks, because like I say, this gun can be derpy if you're not careful, with the camouflage perks to make sure that I can try and have some sort of camo and stay unspotted, and especially while I'm on the move. And as you've seen in this game, we're up to 5.8k damage with 2.1k assistance, and we just YOLO'd to try and get underneath the gun line of where that 7032 was, because we figured that if we could try and get up there, we might be getting a bit extra damage. But unfortunately, the 7032 shut us down, but well, there was nothing else to do in that game, so it was just chance it, risk it for a biscuit. That's what you try and do when you get the Marks of Excellence. And we got the High Caliber, the Confederate, the Ace Tanker, 2.1k base XP, which is a really nice game there for the Stone Cold on Mali. And again, you saw the perfect way to counter that D6 position. 2 people tried to take that position, and we effectively completely stopped them from taking it, meaning that they were not going to be able to spot my team trying to climb the hill. And the moment we realised that the hill was screwed, and it was like, oh no, the hill's screwed, we're going to lose it, we fell back to behind that little mound on the ridgeline so that we could stay safe, spot the people coming off it, and then just keep poking over, going bang, bang, pull back. That's what you want to be trying to do if it goes badly on the hill, because naturally if you win the hill, which does happen quite often as well, you could have pushed round underneath the hill and then pushed up to the rock that's usually at like A5 or whatever it is on Mali, and then push towards where their spawn and their cap is. So we're on to the second replay, and this second replay, we're here on Siegfried Line. And on Siegfried Line, we're up to 301 damage already, 1200 assistance, and again, we are pushing for that 3rd mark of excellence. We know we're quite close at this point, so we're just going to try and push it for as much as we can. It is a tier 9 lobby, which isn't the best, naturally, because, you know, it's always nice to be top tier where you can farm damage a bit more easily, but there is more HP to fly about when it's tier 9 and 10, so that can be quite handy as well. So we're in the perfect position here to counter the guys that are sat down at F1. So we're just farming up on the Pantera and the light tank, being as careful as humanly possible, being as tucked up to this wall as I can be, so that it's making it as difficult as possible for the enemy vehicles to get shots at me. And that, as you can see, we've already bounced 1030 damage. And that's where I'm saying that the armor on this tank is something that you should try not to rely on. Don't go, aha, I've got armor, and try and bounce everything. But if you need it to, occasionally, with the angles and stuff, you will ricochet shots. So we keep poking up on this spot here at F5 so that we can try and spot the people like the G-Saw and the other TD and heavy tanks at the back. We've managed to get 1754 assistance with 1701 damage. So we've got 3.4k combined so far, which, for the Mark of Excellence grind on the Stone Cold, that's pretty damn good. We're doing well at this point. I'm pretty confident that I'm around the position I need to be to not drop. So we can play a little bit more free in the fact that, you know, we can take more risks without having the fear of, oh no, if I die now, I'm going to drop a good amount. So I realised that that position was pointless. It was pointless being there anymore at E5 because we were just getting spotted all the time. We weren't spotting what was shooting at us. The stuff that we were trying to spot earlier on was shooting at us without ever getting spotted. So what's the point of just staying and sitting there? So we've moved up to this position at E5 right here, and we're just going to keep waiting for the reload, poking out and double tapping where we can, and feeding ourselves damage and assist wherever we can as well. So we get one shot into the Bayer as it was crossing the open there, blind, but sadly one of the other shots didn't go in. The medium tank on our left is a tank that I want to try and get shots into. Same as the Malinovka. Thankfully, he's sideways on, which means we get 2 easy shots into the side of the Malinovka, pumping us up to 2.8k damage and 2k assistance. Made that 2.2k assistance. So, I mean, we're at 4.8k combined. And I just, again, I'm not quite sure how much I really needed to pump up to get the 3rd mark of excellence, but I'm pretty confident I'm nearly there already. But you never want to rest on your laurels. You want to be able to try and get as much as you can to guarantee it, right? Because the marks of excellence system at times is very fickle. And you can think, aha, I should have this. And then it just goes 94.99 person. And you go, oh, what? Why? You know? That's the way it can go. So that position we were on there was, yeah, it was getting too risky. Basically, they were really starting to focus quite hard on us. It wasn't going the way we wanted to. We ended up losing a lot of hit points. So what I'm going to do now is take a risky approach to getting back to the back behind this bunker, because if that T-54 lightweight spots us, it's, well, not going to be a good time. But we get back behind this bunker, and the reason we want to get here is because we can shoot the people like this Bayer right here. Oh, we light him on fire. Crispy fried Bayers. Ooh, yeah. We can shoot the people like the Bayer, like that medium tank, and also shoot the people like the TNH on that corner at F6 as they poke round the corner, and we should be able to support our teammates from there with relative safety is where I'd describe it. Plus, if they decide to be aggressive in the field, we can try and help the field as well. So thankfully we get a shot into the side of the G-Saw there, finishing him off for up to 4,060 damage, 2.2k assist. And at this point, I've definitely got the 3rd mark of excellence. It's just seeing how far we pump it up now. And again, I need to see where I can support. So we're going to side scrape out off this bunker to see if that, I think it's a Centurion, was poking out round the corner. He is. We get 1 into his upper plate, 2 into his upper plate, damaging his ammo rack, boost our reload with food instantly, get ourselves safe. We've got to be careful about poking out too much while side scraping off of this bunker, because obviously if there's anyone else in the field that's not just the T-54 lightweight, they may be able to get shots into our side as well, which would be pretty awkward. But we're just going to keep side scraping off this bunker, making it as hard as possible for them to get a shot to pen us, but also seeing if we can get some shots to finish off the Centurion. We poke out, find the Malinovka, and there's the gun handling in a nutshell. We pen one through the lower plate, the other one went underneath the Malinovka, because why not? Thank you, RNG. That was really kind of you. Really kind. Beautiful scenes from this game sometimes when it does that. But sadly, that meant we didn't actually get to kill the Malinovka. Now, 208 pen might actually struggle with the Malinovka. That's the problem with the Stone Cold and the TL-1 LPC in general, is that 208 penetration on the standard round is fairly mediocre and will mean that you do struggle at times to pen things, especially in Tier 9 and 10 games. But when you've got 208 to keep pen, it's very, very nice, and it means that you will go through pretty much everything if you hit the weak spots, all that good stuff. So it's a nice asset to have, and that's what we had for that Malinovka. And thankfully, he bounced off our turret front, and we finished him off. Not that he could have killed us in one shot, I just took the risk that he might actually pen me there, but I might get the shot in to be able to kill him. So we get 2 shots into the T-54 lightweight there. Someone else hits him, putting him down to a 1-shot. Good stuff. And we're up to 5.7k damage with the 2.6k assistance. And a bit of that is tracking now because we actually track that lightweight. But the Centurion 7-1 is still... is a 2-shot. If I get both of my shots from this clip into that Centurion 7-1, we should finish him off. So I do want to go get rid of that British Tier 9 medium tank because we want to get rid of that Hesh gun out the game. Because naturally the L7-105 is a very, very good gun. It does a lot of damage. So we just want to get rid of that Tier 9. So we're going to poke out this way, see if he's facing the other way. He is. We get 1 in, and then we get 2 in. Good night, Mr. British Tier 9 medium tank. Completely caught him out of the blue and just assassinated, which is what we're doing. I was hoping that he would be facing the other way down at D7. And the reason for that was our light tank had run through. So I was expecting to be looking the other way, and thankfully he was. That's why we went that way, so we could just catch him out. So we've seen where the G-Saw is. There is still 4 tanks alive as well as the Arty. And it's, you know, we've still got a decent amount of people alive. So I'm waiting for this G-Saw to drive around this corner, because the G-Saw was spotted just around it. And he could clip me out if I'm not careful. So I have to basically sit, be patient. But the TD gets spotted in the distance as Jagdpanther 2. And I'm expecting the G-Saw to possibly appear that way as well, because he's just not driven around the corner. So we're going to go drive around, see if we can get a shot into the UDES, and see if we can find the G-Saw around here. But we're not finding the G-Saw. He doesn't get spotted. The UDES spotted us as we put around the corner, which is not a good time. But he's actually going to give us a free shot. So we get a shot into his lower plate, and he gets finished off by the 704 from the field. And then it's like, oh no, that's the G-Saw, which is not a good time for us. The light tank we know is in the field. That G-Saw is coming down the main road for us, which is going to be awkward, because that means we can't back around this corner. Again, he could clip me out. Well, he could kill me quite easily. He gets one shot into my turret front, which puts me down to a one-shot for him, which means I have to side scrape off this dead tank to stay alive. And I realise the moment the artillery detection thing goes off, we were screwed. And sadly, the M5355 shuts us down. But we did finish with the victory and a very good score of 7,001 damage. A very, very good score for a tier 8 tank. I mean, that's a really good game for a tier 10 tank, let alone tier 8. 2.6k assistance, so we got that 9.6k combined. Ace Tanker Confederate, the high caliber. That third mark of excellence for 2.6, nearly 2.7k base XP. Really fantastic game there for the TL-1 LPC, or the Stone Cold version of it, achieving our third mark of excellence. I mean, what a tank this tank is. It's still great even now, and it can be a hell of a lot of fun. Just, you know, you got to pick up the TL-1 LPC, the unskinned version, because you'll never be able to really pick up this WWE version unless they randomly renew the license, which we'll all probably doubt on that. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success.